If you've ever thought about adding a course to your agency model, but you're not totally sure if it's worth the effort, this episode is going to give you the full picture. I'm joined by Kwadwo, host of the Art of Online Business podcast and agency owner turned course creator. And we're digging into the real behind the scenes of what it takes to launch a low-ticket course while running an agency. We get into why Kwadwo decided to build a course in the first place. And it wasn't to replace the agency. It was to reach the folks who needed his expertise but couldn't afford done-for-you services. He shares how he tested the idea before ever recording a lesson, what's really happened with his time and revenue since launching, and why a $27 product isn't as simple as it sounds. We also talk about the reality of running two different offers with two totally different audiences and what it takes to make both sides of the business grow without burning out. So if you're considering a digital product, thinking about your next revenue stream, or just curious about what it really takes to make a course work in your agency, this one's for you. Welcome to the Small But Mighty Agency podcast. If you want to grow an agency to 7 figures and beyond without working more hours in your business, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Audrey Joy Kwan. I know what it takes to build an agency, including supporting an agency owner in selling and exiting. I also have a master's degree in communications, specializing in organizational development. My team and I have worked behind the scenes of multiple 7-figure agencies and have coached and consulted with over 150 agency owners. All this to say, when you join us on the Small But Mighty Agency podcast, you get real world experience and practical tips that help you work less, earn more, and lead with integrity. So let's go. Hey friends, I met today's guest at a business event that was 99.9% woman, and yet he was one of the only guys there. But what stood out wasn't that. It was how genuinely curious, thoughtful, and down to earth he is. Now, Kwadwo is the host of the Art of Online Business podcast, a top 15 marketing podcast with over 5 million downloads. He's also the founder of a Facebook ads agency that helps course creators scale. So he's seen behind the curtains of dozens of digital product businesses. Now he's building a course of his own, and he's here to share what that journey looks like from both sides of the fence as an agency owner and course creator. So if you've ever wondered whether it makes sense to add a course or digital product to your agency model, this conversation is going to give you the why, when, and how.
Thank you, Audrey. It's good to be here.
Kwadwo, you serve course creators through your ads agency. But my first question is, why a course for your agency? What patterns did you notice that made you want to go ahead and create your own course?
Really, the decision was a practical one. Looking at my capacity to deliver my service directly to the people who I serve, like I knew it would cap out. And I would probably need to start hiring junior ad managers or just work longer hours. And so my mind is thinking, how can I still scale my revenue? And you don't have to look far to see that lots of people pursue this model where they take their expertise and they bottle it up into a course, and then they're able to serve more. The patterns that I saw were that certain people can afford ads management, but there's a whole percentage of the audience, the majority of people, that will never be able to afford ads management, but still need to run ads. So it's those people that I just took the kind of questions that I was getting over and over again and decided to package it up into a course, because they still need the help. They still need the knowledge, but they need it at a level or in a package that they can afford to get, that can help them right where they're at with the problems they're facing. And that was the thought process behind starting a course.
I want to dig deeper into that decision-making process. I want to just break it down a bit. The first thing I want to ask, what were the signs that it was the right time to start building a course?
It's never the right time. I just want to say that to the listener. It's never the right time, right? As in, it's not like I was walking outside and praying one day and the sky opened up and my schedule opened up with a month to create a course. Some of the signs that I was experiencing personally was that I was busy, and what I was doing was working, as in managing ads for clients directly was working quite well, but I was busy. And so I still wanted more revenue. That was one sign. And I would say that was the most important sign. This is more of a personal point, but being a Christian and being married, like two other good signs was I had peace in my heart as I was praying about it. And then I also bounced it off of my wife, and she was like, yeah, it could make sense to pursue this.
It obviously takes time to develop a course. There's a investment of energy. Is that investment of energy worth it for you for the tail end output? So right now with the course that you have, are you saving more time? And where does that time saving show up?
So strategically, I chose to create a course that did not require my involvement. So this was not a high ticket, 1,400 US dollar course. I went the low ticket route. Thus, I can over deliver with quality for an offer. The offers range from $37 to like $67. So people are expecting like an offer that's very specific, not something that is super expansive. But in that, I can deliver a very easy to follow on your own specific result. And so that was the strategy, because now I'm not involved in the course at all. It sits there. And because it has to do with, Facebook and Instagram ads, I do have to update it maybe once a quarter, certain lessons in the course, because the interface of meta ads is always changing. But I have my time back. And I will also say for you listening right now, this is not one of those stories where I started a course and now I make 500,000 extra dollars of income annually. This is a very much in the process kind of story where there is more money coming in, but it's not more than, say, an extra $500 to $700 of revenue a month from the course, because you got to build out the funnel and figure out the marketing for this whole new channel, so to speak.
I think the honesty about what a course can and can't do for a business is what we really want to dig into. You chose a low ticket product. For someone listening, they might not even be familiar with the words low ticket, high ticket. So can we dig into that some more? You're in that course world, so that language comes really easy to you. What makes a low ticket? What makes a high ticket?
So in the online course creator space, we tend to use these terms low ticket, mid tier, or high ticket, right? And basically, a high ticket would be something that could be around $4,000, $5,000. There's a range, right? And so I'm giving you broad strokes. Mid ticket or mid tier course could be priced at, the $297 all the way up till, let's call it $997. Specifically, when we reference low ticket offers, those are priced usually below $57. And low ticket, to me, and the myriad of course creators I've served up till now, I should add that for about 3 or 4 years, I was coaching course creators inside of a group coaching program, quite successful course creators. And I was consulting on their funnels and advising them on ads. So I've seen a lot. And then obviously as an Instagram and Facebook ad manager, I've seen plenty of clients, their offers. Low ticket is positioned at a price point where somebody who is cold or new to your business, they haven't seen your social media, they haven't been to your website yet, they have not seen your ads yet, can see that price and stomach buying it because your marketing, your messaging is on point. That's what low ticket means. And so usually, some people have very low ticket, $7 offers. The low ticket offers I usually see are right between $27 and $47.
And the low ticket offer, it brings people into your world. Would you say that it ladders into other offers for you? Does it naturally connect from someone taking the course into then, say, hiring you for ads work that's more about your agency and what it provides?
For my business, people get the low ticket offer and then they get another related offer, and eventually they reach out to me for one-on-one coaching. The concept, you were spot on, Audrey, where a low ticket offer like a free lead magnet can bring somebody into your world. It's not intimidating because at $27, if you solve a very specific problem and your messaging, like all day long messaging matters a lot, is on point, somebody can look at that and say, okay, the risk is very low. Sure, I'll drop $27, but the course very clearly says this course will teach you how to test your ads and lower your lead cost. It's a very clear deliverable. It's not like take this $597 course and learn how to run ads. Oh my gosh, involves 10 different things that could take you 5 weeks to figure out. No, it's a specific thing. And so people are comforted by that. They perceive very low risk. And so they get one offer. The concept then is like you have other offers that also are related that solve very specific problems. I'm an ads manager. The complication with ads usually is, do you know how to write good ad copy that will convert? And or do you know how to make good graphics or visuals that convert? Lots of people get stuck around this. Like, yes, can we jump into Ads Manager and figure out the strategy? But that's a complex course. Teaching somebody how to make good graphics or offering templates, very simple, low ticket offer. Teaching somebody how to write good copy or just giving them access to an ad copy vault that I've curated from 3 years of clients, good, easy template, kind of like Mad Libs from back in the day, where they can plug and play their business info into that ad copy. That's like an example of a low ticket offer that I have. And then my main offer just teaches people how to reliably, in a systematic way, test different ad components and lower their lead cost. And so they get one, but then another one is offered as an order bump, and another one is offered as an upsell. On the back end, there is a funnel of emails, the secret upsell menu, if you will, so that if somebody gets only the ad testing cheat code, which is what I named my program that helps you lower lead costs, then there's a series of emails that go out and attempts to upsell them into the next thing. Hey, you want to lower your ads? Do you suck at making, graphics and want to save time? I have this graphic vault that's got 2x ROAS for my previous clients. It's templatized, so you can plug in your business logos and colors. And that's how we do it with my funnel. But that took a lot of time. And that's what I mean, where this is very much a work in progress. Along the way, I've had to look at the data, refine things, go hire a copywriter, add some extra emails. It's been a whole process.
It sounds like you have to be prepared to serve two different audiences. Right now, it sounds like the people who are coming into the course are more in line with the do-it-yourself model. And you're hands-off because you can share the course, people take it, and it doesn't require your attention or time because these people are there to do it themselves. Whereas in the agency model, it's, you have an agency, so it's has nothing to do with do it yourself. It's someone tells you what their challenges are, what their goals are, and you are strategically thinking things out. You're doing the design, you're doing the cover, you're doing it all, right? And getting it out there. So it sounds like if you're an agency owner and you do want to put in a course, you really have to think about how that course is either going to serve your current people. And if it serves your current people, will it be more high touch? Will it actually save you time? Or will it then serve another type of audience? And is that other type of audience someone you do want to serve? I just want to clarify that because I do think if someone's listening to this and thinking about adding a course to the agency, there's a lot to really think through here. If you were speaking to an agency owner and they were thinking, do I or don't I create a course? What would you say to them having built a course and the strategy that you had to really think through in order to decide whether a course was the right fit or not a right fit?
That is a great question. Looking back over my experience, if somebody phoned me up and said, hey, give me advice, I have an agency, I want to create a course, I would ask them two things. At the end of their unsuccessful discovery calls, do they already have a lower offer that they're downselling people into? I.e., have they identified a segment of people who are interested in their agency services that for whatever reason aren't quite ready to work with them at that level? And so then there's a lower ticket offer. In my case, that was coaching initially, because somebody might not want to hire me minimum 3 months to manage their ads, but they still were at the point where their business had profitable offers and they just wanted to run their own ads. So I'd ask if that was already in place. And then as far as creating a course, I will always say, never go into your closet and come out 3 months later with this whiz-bang course that you developed on your own. Always attempt to validate that course first, as in look at the people who are in your business ecosphere, could be the folks who follow you on social media or on YouTube. Try to pull them to see what they would need from you or what they would actually buy, or offer them some incentive to get on like 15-minute calls, maybe with previous people who didn't buy your agency service, so to speak, and ask them what they need, but try to do some research to save the pain of developing this full-fledged course that nobody buys, and then you launch to crickets and you're super sad. You're like, is it me? Am I even good at what I do? Why? Okay. Also, this makes more sense if you have an audience. Like, there's plenty of agency owners, like it might be you listening right now, who you have an agency that's crushing it, but maybe you run ads and you just get, discovery calls, but you don't necessarily have a big social media audience. Or maybe you attend a bunch of speaking events or conferences because your ideal client is already there spending money so that they have the money to invest in your services. But if you don't have a big audience, maybe having a course isn't the best move right away, because you do need people to market to. So I would bring that up with somebody who was interested in developing their course.
This is so good, because what we're really talking about is how you market agency services and how you market course services are absolutely different. And a course, especially one that's low ticket, if you want to grow that into something that is a primary offer, you need something called volume. And volume is done through a whole bunch of visibility. Like you mentioned, there might be a need to become more of a social media person in order to gain that visibility. So it really comes down to, what do you see for yourself as the most comfortable for you in marketing? And honestly, if volume type of marketing, i.e. being on social media, isn't kind of your thing, you might want to rethink, is this the direction for me?
I already had the volume, which is why I thought the course would be a good idea. And then I pre-validated it, literally sold the course before I created it with an outline and a promise that the founding members who would come in at the ground level would have a chance to shape the course, and they'd also get a little extra access to me in the form of Q&A sessions to pick my brain about ads they were currently running. And then I went ahead and did those, took the feedback, and developed the course. Now, that is to say that the rest of the context is that I already had a podcast with a lot of listeners. I actually just reduced the number of episodes that I am publishing weekly. So I can say that we're floating around 25,000 downloads a month. So I knew I had the audience and the volume. And then it's just math.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people, if I was working with 12 to 15 clients at a time for ads management, but having all these downloads for the podcast, most of the folks were coming and listening to me for hours for ads advice and help, but the minority were working with me for services. So I could see that there was potential. As you said so eloquently and so succinctly, I could see the volume that was sitting there of listeners, and I could see that there could be demand for a course.
Oh, this is so good. I think many agency owners want to build something like a podcast or have a YouTube channel. That's something that they want to do because they think, okay, that visibility is going to bring me more clients. And I think what you just really pointed out here, the podcast that you have, while it does bring you clients for the agency, you notice that the majority of people who are listeners don't actually want to buy the do it for you agency service. They're more in the do it yourself category. And so this foundation that you built, which is your podcast, became an opportunity for you to really build that course.
Yeah. I would say to the agency owner listening right now, if you are considering, I want to start a podcast as effectively another marketing channel, or I want to start a YouTube channel, just take a pause and think about it. It differs for everyone, and I know other folks whose podcasts bring in clients for their agency or done for you services. However, my podcast doesn't really. There are some people who listen to a podcast and came to me for agency work, but the majority of people who are listening for the service that I provide, potential clients who are listening to my podcast, they're not going to be folks who would pay me for ads management service, because I'm serving an established course creator. And in general, someone who is making $1 million, gross annual in their business probably has a small team, and they're probably not listening to podcasts that are giving, let's say just mid-tier advice about how to grow your course or run your ads. They're just probably not. And so I would say, dear agency friend that I haven't got a chance to be a friend yet, For me, I found more agency clients just by going, literally this year, it was my goal too, and I'm on the way to doing that. I've already attended more events because somebody told me, when you sell your services, you have to sell your agency services twice to the person who does not believe in investing in their own business. Once to get them to believe that they need to invest in their own business, a second time to get them to believe that you're the person who can help them versus the other people that offer the same service. If you go to conferences where people are already paying to attend, then they already have been sold the first time, as in they're already believing and investing in their business with lots of dollars, plane tickets, attendance fees, etc. And so then they probably are a lot closer to understanding that they need to invest in advertising or marketing.
Yeah, it's like shortening your sales cycle, right? You know that, hey, if they are going to a conference, they've paid money to be there, they're willing to spend on the learning. They're obviously looking for something. And by you being in that room with them, you're saying, look, I'm here to help you solve that problem that you came to solve. Easy peasy. And one thing that you do well is you go to events repeatedly. You're really consistent. So for those people who go to conferences and they make it a regular every year to go, they see you twice, they see you 3 times. I think over time, you just become the name and the face that pops up when they think about your niche, which is course creators. One of the things that you also do really well is understanding what you're really building in your business in terms of the course and who it serves, and knowing the agency and who it serves. And really, you have these 2 different marketing strategies. Now, running 2 different marketing strategies takes up a lot of time. I would say it's probably one of the trickiest parts about building a course. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if that is the case, what are you doing to manage the growth of these 2 different verticals? What's been the trickiest part about building a course while running this agency?
The trickiest part about building the course while running the agency is just remembering that I have an audience and I need to, well, they say open mouth, open business. I need to actually talk about the course that I developed so people can hear about it, i.e., I just remind myself literally in the notes of most of my podcast episodes. And sometimes my wife nudges me if we're interviewing on another podcast. I just have to remind myself to promote the course. And I usually just say something like, what I've been talking about is broad strokes, high level. If you want to lower your lead cost, like I do for every client, and still maintain high quality, the course can walk you through the same 4 phases and show you behind the scenes of me doing the thing inside of client accounts. I've said that so many times in other podcasts, and I still have to remind myself, talk about your course, because lots of people that are listening might be right there where they have a successful business, a successfully selling offer that they're growing organically, however they're doing that, and they want to start ads, but they don't know that I have a course. So that's really been it. It's not been super complicated.
I think the trickiest part is the focus in your business. The course is a different goal, and then the agency business is a different goal because it's a different audience. It's balancing 2 very different strategies to grow them. I think that is fairly tricky, and I don't know how you do it all, Kwadwo.
An agency owner like myself, the way I market both is I realize that my clients are usually going to be met through other people who are kind of at the same level as me, serving the same niche that I serve in a complementary, non-competitive way. So if I'm a meta ads manager, then I'm going to make friends on purpose with business strategists and copywriters, because they're serving people who need the same kind of help. Somebody that hires a launch strategist is most likely not running their own ads, and their business is big enough that they've already learned the lesson that if they don't run ads, their sales are a lot lower. So how I market but do it efficiently to both verticals is I make sure that I'm going to events to get FaceTime with people who might need my services. Many times they know people who would need my services though, but then I also prioritize having guests on my podcast and also being a guest on other people's podcasts. Does that really get me course clients? A little bit, but what it does is it's just like meeting people on purpose who you jive with. And then through that, people have hung out with me for a bit. And they either know quickly that they like me just like meeting friends in real life, right? Or they don't, but they know what I do. And the name, like you said, comes up in conversations, or they hop on with another podcast guest and who needs a solution. They're like, you know what? I just met this guy. Or, you know what? I just podcasted with this guy who I actually met in person at an event, and he seems pretty cool. Oh, and we're in the same mastermind together. So I know that he serves people well. Maybe you should go check him out to solve your problem. That's how I do my marketing.
Yeah, I love that. That's such a great point. The podcast, I absolutely agree with you, is a great way to meet people. And my favorite parts about having this podcast is being able to directly connect with agency owners and pick their brains in a way that serves value, not only to them because it allows them to gain visibility, but also to the audience who gets to see inside that person's brain. So I absolutely agree with you. Okay. Do you see your course as a new revenue stream or a pathway to something bigger for your future?
My goal, which I'm nowhere near hitting, was to have 30%, 30, of my revenue come from the course this year. And right now it's more like 3% of my revenue. Is that the right number? Don't quote me on the percentage. It's a very small percentage of revenue that comes from the course.
You know, there's a saying that we've all heard of before, and we all know it's not true. And the saying is, if you build a website, they will come. And I feel this is the same with the course. I think there's a general feeling out there where people think, if I build a course, then they will come. And I think what we're really unpacking here is, no, if you build a course, they will not just automatically come. There's a lot of stuff that needs to happen in the back end to make it work. And I think what's even more interesting is it's really meta for you in the sense that you get to apply everything that you learn from helping other course creators grow the course now back into growing your course. And so speaking from the ads perspective, what really helps to grow a course from the lens of ads?
That's tough. Let me be very transparent and say that I have not had the best success growing my course with ads.
Oh.
Somebody's going to write me off, but that's okay. Somebody needs to be honest in this online world. When I coach folks, what I preach is lean into the marketing channel that you're good at and that is working for you. Now, I won't share names, but this is a common thing in the agency world. Like, it's not just me. I can say that. It's not just me, but I've talked to copywriters who don't write the own copy for their website. Why? Because since they're so close to their business and it's such a personal product, all of a sudden it's like their magic just disappears and they're grinding to a halt and struggling to get their own voice on their website in a way that converts. And yet they get paid good money, really good money to do this for other clients, and they have the results for other clients. So it's not just me. If you're listening and you're like struggling with this thing where, how come I can't do this for myself? All that is to say is I've tried running ads and growing my course, and I haven't had the best of luck doing it. I'm still trying. Like, literally, my wife and I were dancing, and we had a video that we made of us dancing, and it was the nth number of ad creative that we've tried to run ads to our course. I will say that. And I will also say that I have had success because I track it, which, side note, but this is a must. If you have different social media, like a YouTube channel, Instagram account, and a podcast, and you have an opt-in or a low ticket offer that you're selling, please set up like duplicate sales pages or duplicate opt-in pages and tag that traffic differently on the back end with your email service provider so that you know where the purchases are coming from. Because I can confidently say people who watch my YouTube channel don't buy the course, even though I talk about it there, because I have that traffic tagged. People who listen to my podcast do buy the course. I know that people who come onto my email list that don't listen to the YouTube channel or the podcast, at least because I can see what lead magnet brought them in and where they came in, they also buy the course. So just track that too.
When you're an expert in something, oftentimes it's hard to do it for your own business. There's an analogy for it. It's that glass bottle analogy where it's like, you're inside this glass bottle trying to read your own label. It's like really hard to do that. And I think your example about being able to do that for yourself or a copywriter, it's very true. I talk to people who are really great at doing things for clients. When it comes to doing it for themselves, it is difficult. I'm so glad that you brought that to light and are really honest about your journey in terms of growing your course. Okay, to wrap up here, if there was one piece of advice you would leave to an agency owner who is feeling stuck on where to start with their course, what's that one thing you would say they should take action on today?
Absolutely. They should look within their trusted circle or their next remove circle, as in people who know people that they know, and find somebody who already has the same agency service and similar agency model, but also has a successful course, and then just pay that person for their time. That's how you get unstuck. This is the shortcut. For me, I have a Facebook and Instagram ads management agency, and I happened to know someone who had an agency that not only let's conservatively say that she like 6X's my revenue, but she also has courses that do quite well. So I reached out to her because I trusted her, and I trusted her because we happened to have been in the same mastermind together. And so not only do I know a bunch of the people who know her, but I sat in a room, heard her hot seat questions, and have observed her growth. All that is to say is that I trust her and know she's legit, right? And so I paid for her time. And then because she had basically my same business, but way more revenue, and she already had a course, and I knew where I was wanting to go with that course. And in addition, I knew how I wanted to go grow my business too. I could ask her the questions, and she could tell me, oh, yeah, I hit that roadblock before. Here's how I fixed it. She could look at my operations, my Asana, because I use Asana, and she'd be like, oh, this is going to be a bottleneck for you when you start scaling up above. I think at the time I hadn't passed like 12 clients, She knew exactly the issues that I had. So that's what I would say to the listener right now who's thinking about not just having a course, but about any kind of extra additional service they want in their agency, or just the general, I want to increase my revenue, but how do I do that and still get whatever result? If the result is you want to sit on a beach and not be like bogged down in client work, and so you're thinking, do I hire on other people to deliver the service? Before you make that move, or before you go along with a YouTube video from somebody who appears to be successful, they may be, but they don't know you, just go find somebody who already is doing what you've done or what you're doing and has more success, or the kind of success or the kind of lifestyle that you want. And then just pay them for an hour of their time and let them give you the wisdom that they've had to learn through mistakes and success, so that you don't have to come to that same wisdom on your own through mistakes and success and failure.
Yeah, as a coaching consultant myself, I couldn't agree with you more. I think as a coaching consultant who has hired other coaches, one of the things that does is saves time. I think we can all agree that time is the one thing you will never get back. It is like the most valuable thing that you'll ever have in this life. And so for me, saving time and having a shortcut is always going to be a good investment. Okay, Kwadwo, where can people find you?
So I'm the host of a podcast that serves online course creators, helping them scale from mid 5-figure months up to high 6-figure years. That is called The Art of Online Business, where you come and get the tips and tricks and strategies and Facebook ads goodness. The other place you could find me if you're listening right now is I'm just sociable. Like Audrey and I met in person at this mastermind, if you will. I enjoy meeting folks. So if you go to my Instagram, which is QUAYJO, kind of how my name sounds, then you can DM me and say hi. Like I enjoy meeting new folks all the time.
Thank you, Kwadwo. I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Audrey. This has been a really cool interview. You're good at what you do.
You too. So go listen to Kwadwo's podcast. We'll see you guys soon. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me at the Small But Mighty Agency podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to me if you hit the follow or subscribe button in your podcast app and share it with a friend. I'll see you on the next one.